Greetings once again. Thank you for joining me for Electric Avenue's YouTube updates. Another edition. Doing the new releases today for November 21st, 2025. We've got a Black Friday record store day coming up a week from today, or a week from this Friday, the 21st. It's on the 28th. The day after Thanksgiving starts at 8 a.m. Sorry about the earliness. As many of you know, most of us record store people are not morning people. So to get up that early to do that, it takes a lot to just get out of bed, especially when it starts getting colder. You see flurries in the air once in a while. I hope it's not like that kind of a thing. We even had a little bit of snow starting in the April event that we did this year, the big record store day. There was some snow on the way down. So, and it wasn't sticking or anything, but that was, 5 o'clock in the morning on a cold April morning. So hopefully it's not that sort of a scenario. I always feel bad for the people who are up north, the people who experience lake effect snow. It's beautiful, but it can hinder your business. And so that's always a concern. We put a lot of money, a lot of effort, a lot of time and sweat and work into making these events go off without a hitch. This is our 29th event in this space since we have been here, including record store days and record store day Black Fridays, RSD Black Fridays. So it's very exciting. There's been a lot of sort of controversy going around on the internet, YouTubes lately, social media about Record Store Day. And frankly, for us, it's always been a positive. I always love to see people coming out and supporting the store. I have a very good feeling I can't think of a list I've ever seen that I didn't like something or a lot of things. So I'm just going to remain positive on the issue, and you guys can talk amongst yourselves. So anyway, it's hard to sort of like take yourself out of the situation when you're part of the situation. But if people want to do that, more power to them. But I'm here to spread the love, and I'm always excited about this stuff. So anyway, getting to this week's new releases, let's start. The big one this week that people have been talking about for a while, y'all know it's coming. I know you're waiting to see it, is the Beatles anthology. This is the vinyl edition. Runs $375 at retail. I know that's a lot. It is quite a large, I think it's 8 records, 4 volumes. It used to be 3. They added a 4th. The 4th one actually contains the new 2025 mixes of Free as a Bird and Real Love. So you get the sort of cleaned up versions of those. And also does feature Now and Then at the end as well. You can get Anthology 4 on its own as a standalone 2 LP. Is it a 2 LP record? No, 3 LPs. 3 LPs. So you can get it by itself. This runs $75 for that. But the big box, it is pricey. The only caveat I have to say about this is that they haven't even received the CD box set at the warehouse yet. This is the day before it's supposed to be released, and that is across the board at all of the distributors. So I'm hopeful that the CDs show up later today, and we'll have to pay extra to have them overnighted. It's ridiculous. It's like you never heard of a band called the Beatles before. Like they're not the biggest band in the world ever, honestly. So I will let rest at Universal's feet, or whoever at the record company is dropping the ball on that. Maybe they just didn't make enough. I don't know. But I have quite a few people wanting the CD edition as well. So if you want the vinyl edition, you're going to have to let me know, because I do have more on hold at the warehouse, but they are so expensive. I can't afford to just have them sitting on the shelf, as I have many things here still sitting on the shelf. Some things, I thought, well, maybe they'll turn sort of around either the holidays or there's enough interest. And most of this stuff, it's either the last copy or, one of those kinds of things. And there's a lot of great stuff out there. That's the problem. This year is sort of a wealth of box sets. If you've been watching my videos, you can see pretty much every week there's either box sets or some kind of special editions or whatever. So what can I say? Also, the 2 CD edition of the Beatles will be available. They haven't shown up yet either. They're supposed to be here on release day. So knock on wood, at least I hope I get a few of those. So, all right. Stress. I'm telling you, the stress. On top of this, we're trying to get Black Friday, the Record Store Day Black Friday event together. So, all right, this is pretty cool. Bill Evans, a box set of his Riverside years. And this is five LPs. It is also available on a CD edition. I think maybe triple CD, I'm not sure. This is the complete studio sessions from Bill Evans. Never before released 17 never before released gems. A deluxe 5 LP box on 180 gram vinyl. It contains the albums Portrait in Jazz and Explorations, restored in breathtaking detail via the plangent process. They use that quite a bit doing Grateful Dead records. 28 alternates and outtakes, 17 premiering here, dropping you right on the piano bench with Bill Evans. Newly remastered, Grammy Award-winning engineer Paul Blakemore did this stuff here, and the lacquers were cut by Kevin Gray at Coherent Audio. So this is really going to be probably one of the high water marks of restoration this year. Packed with rare photos, Eugene Hawley's insightful liner notes, and an introduction by John Densmore of The Doors. So anyway, Bill Evans featuring Scott LaFaro and Paul Motion, Haunted Hearts, the legendary Riverside recording. So, all right. Moving right along, another box set, and this is sort of more of a deluxe version than a box, but it's still way cool. The Replacements and Let It Be. And this is an expanded edition. Now, someone at Rhino must have gotten the note, hey, we're kind of not really loving these CD vinyl mix jobs that you've been kind of doing, so can you just give us one or the other? So that's sort of what they did. So here you've got a CD edition, which is a triple CD, and then you've got the vinyl edition, which is much of the same material, if not all of it. Let's see. It looks like maybe there's a little more on the CD. Trying to just compare. Oh yeah, there is more on the CD, but still, this is the way it goes. All right. I think so. Let's see. Answering machine. Hey, good looking. Actually, no, they are the same. They are the same. Okay, so the vinyl box. This is four records. It features the original album remastered, Kiss My Grassroots, Rarities, and B-Sides. And the third and fourth records are Good Night, Go Home, live at the Cubby Bear, Chicago, Illinois, August 17th, 1984. So you get a live show of the Replacements. This is one of their most popular and breakout albums, and they were awesome at this point. Still kind of a mess live, but awesome. And it's kind of a shame that they got big, but they weren't. They could have been on the level of say REM, and they didn't get to quite that level of popularity. But that's a great offering this week. Another box set from these guys that I think a lot of people weren't expecting to ever see. Guns N' Roses live era 87 to 93. This had been out on CD many, many years ago, and now you get a special sort of vinyl box of this. Newly remastered from the analog tapes, 4 LP, 180 gram black vinyl, slipcase, 2 gatefold jackets, and a poster. $80. I should have said Replacements is about 100 on vinyl. Not bad for 4 records. This is also 4 records, 80. So even even a little more sort of like affordable. We talk about affordability here. This features songs like Sweet Child of Mine, Knocking on Heaven's Door, Paradise City, Night Train, Welcome to the Jungle, Patience, November Rain, all done live. So, all right. And if you like Guns N' Roses, now's the time. Okay. I was really excited about these. And then when the announcement came, I was a little less excited. And now that it's kind of out, I'm actually more excited because it's kind of a long story. But earlier this year, the Prince estate was kind of saying, okay, we've got a plan now. And we're going to release like at least one more box set of Parade, which is supposedly coming next year. They could change their mind at any point. And they did say a deluxe version of Around the World in a Day, which I really like this album. It's the one that came right after Purple Rain. It was pretty much less than a year. It was very experimental because it was much more rock based and kind of stripped down funk and not the sort of like grand rock synth R&B stuff that he was doing on Purple Rain. So he was actually still touring Purple Rain when this came out, and it kind of threw people for a loop at the time. And so anyway, they've been doing real big box sets for Prince, and this time they opted not to. Now, part of that makes me think, well, that might be good in a way because maybe a lot of those songs will end up in the Parade box set when they do that. Also, I think there probably will be at some point, hopefully, a Purple Rain vinyl box set because all they ever did was a CD set. So this is kind of the album that was an in-between album, so to speak. But it's nice because they did a 3 LP edition of this with this kind of neat foil cover. And I love this. It's just such an iconic piece of art. And so this album was his kind of, like I said, weird hippie album. It did feature a couple really big hits, Raspberry Beret and Pop Life, and also featured Paisley Park, the song, which hence became the name of his record label and his studio home. It also features Condition of the Heart, which I really love, is kind of a odd ballad, kind of sort of similar to Beautiful Ones, but a little more dreamy. And the crazy last song, Temptation, where he sort of takes on the voice of himself talking with God, sort of vocally manipulated the voice. But the cool thing about this 3-record set, I should mention, is that at the very end, there is the 12-inch single version of America, which is 22 minutes long and is pretty impossible to find anymore. It's very difficult. So it's nice that that's remastered on here. Also features 2 versions of the song For the Tears in Your Eyes. One which is the We Are the World version that got submitted and turned in for that album. The other one was the one that appeared on the Hits the B-Sides later. So that's cool. There's a couple 12-inch mixes of B-Sides, Girl, Hello, She's Always in My Hair, and then long versions of Raspberry Beret and Pop Life and Paisley Park too. So it really kind of covers the bases of like what was released and kind of collects it. It's not really featuring any vault tracks that we haven't heard. So that's the kind of letdown here. But I feel like that will probably be rectified with the next project. Hopeful, fingers crossed. I'm a huge Prince fan, if you can't tell. The other thing that they put out is this, which is just a regular sort of reissue of this. They do have the little fold-over flaps that some people tore off, and that drives me crazy. Sometimes they fall off, and you can't help it. But Bernie Grundman did the remastering of these, and this one is on blue and black marble vinyl. So it's kind of a color vinyl, cool color vinyl. Anyway. And I do love this record, obviously. All right. You're like, you're taking too long. You're getting stuck on one artist. Eric Clapton, Journeyman, another pretty popular album of his from the 80s. And this was sort of like a kind of a big later 80s album for him. It featured the big hit Pretending. Also featured, this features 4 bonus tracks, this sort of new deluxe edition from the original 1989 recording sessions. That Kind of Woman plus Forever, Higher Power, and Border Song, which I don't know if that's a Elton John cover, but sort of Eric in his Miami Vice phase. But yeah, I mean he was very popular. That he's always been popular. He was about to get more popular with the MTV Unplugged that came a few years later. Another album that I haven't seen on vinyl before. This is, I think, maybe the first pressing. I don't know. I could be wrong. It is Fish with Undermined. And this is the last album that Fish did for Elektra Records, I believe, before they sort of left. This is the 2 LP, 2 versions of Me, color and splatter vinyl. First pressing with individually foil stamped gatefold. It is their 11th studio album on vinyl for the first time. It says includes bonus Undermined studio sessions track Tiny and vinyl cut by Chris Bellman at Bernie Grunman Mastering. And it's put out on their own Jump label right now. But I was like, oh, I don't know what people thought of this record. It was kind of popular, but not as popular as the ones before it. But now that you realize, oh, this is their kind of their last for Elektra, and it hasn't been available on vinyl before, so good for them. Produced and mixed by Chad Blake. It kind of makes me hopeful that artists that were on the Atlantic Elektra at that point, like Tori Amos has her last 2 from the Choir Girl Hotel, has not been put out on vinyl since it was originally out. I'm fortunate that I bought it when it was originally out, because now that's like a $300 or $400 record. But also To Venus and Back, that's never been out. So I'm kind of hoping that some of these artists that had a couple albums that were sort of not their biggest but part of their era, that they finally work on getting some of those out. Speaking of getting albums out that needed to be out a while ago, Grisman and Garcia, that's David Grisman and Jerry Garcia, Not for Kids Only, and this is a deluxe edition. It says Not for Completists Only, the original award-winning album, pressed to vinyl for the first time, plus 4 bonus tracks, and this is a 2 LP set. I mean, it's amazing that they're putting this stuff out the week before Record Store Day. So if you guys are like, you got your RSD lists, that's great, but you might be wanting to kind of look around at some of the other stuff. I feel like, it's such a rush. People run in, they get in line, they do their thing, and then they're gone. And sometimes I think like, but you missed all this cool stuff that just came out in the new release bin that, I don't know. I still see, I've got some Buckingham Nicks sitting over there from the Rhino Hi-Fi edition. So, you never know what people are going to pass up. Christmas is coming. Holidays are coming. I know money's sort of tight. So you just got to be like, get in there and get your stuff, I mean, I don't know. Don't listen to me. Okay. Wes Montgomery, Boss Guitar. And so there are a couple of OJC, Original Jazz Classic, reissues this week. They're on the OJC label, and this was done by Kevin Gray at Coherent Audio. And yeah, what year was this done? 1960. No, it's the 50s. 1963. Anyway, Boss Guitar. Wes Montgomery, he's been having a real renaissance here lately. His albums have been, they always sell, but they've been selling really well. The other OJC this week of note, Sonny Rollins, and this album Plus 4. Seems like a lot of these guys kind of had sort of tragic ends, but anyway, Sonny, he lived for a little while. But this is, let's see, Sonny, Clifford Brown, Richie Powell, George Morrow, and Max Roach. Also Kevin Gray produced Lacquer here. So the OJC stuff, everybody that buys jazz from me on a regular basis say these are some of the best sounding records that are coming out. And it's interesting because they don't cost a fortune. They don't break the bank. They're like around $40. If you want to dip your toe into jazz and you want something that sounds good, that's a good place to start because they sort of are like better in some ways than the original pressings because the quality of vinyl and the pressing technique now it's getting more refined, and they've got a real good system down now at this point. Another great record that gets a repress, Coleman Hawkins, and this is on Acoustic Sounds from Verve Records. This is obviously they always do these sort of audiophile editions, pressed at QRP, quality record pressings. This is a tip-on jacket. I mean, gatefold. It's Coleman with the Oscar Peterson trio, Roy Eldridge, and Ben Webster. Like, you can't get players much better than that. I can't think of any. So there you go. And there was another Verve Acoustic Sounds coming out this week. Illinois Jacquet. I can't remember which album. We will have that on Friday. It's on the way. Another Late to the Warehouse. And a couple of Blue Note classics this week, too. Andrew Hill and his album Judgment. And this is featuring Bobby Hutcherson, Richard Davis, and Elvin Jones. Another great group of people. And let's see, made in Germany. I mean, if you're into like Blue Note or jazz, I don't know how you haven't been buying these all along. Jackie McLean and One Step Beyond, not the Madness song. This is another great jazz classic, another Kevin Gray mastering, cutting job. Does the Guy Ever Sleep? This one features Greshon Moncour, Jackie McLean, obviously, Bobby Hutcherson again, Eddie Kahn, and Anthony Williams. So Bobby Hutcherson is playing vibraphone on both of these records, and what a vibe player that guy was. Incredible. All right, a few new releases this week. Youngblood with Aerosmith. One More Time. This is an EP that they cut together. Obviously, you heard a lot about Steven Tyler having vocal issues, so hopefully they kind of helped him out here a little bit. And Youngblood now canceled the end of his tour this year from some sort of illness, so it's a collaborative EP, Aerosmith's first new music since 2012. 13 years, and includes 5 brand new recordings and an etched vinyl design. So it's not that break the bank. It's like $28. So anyway, and then also new this week, we get 2 albums from the artist Dijon, and this one is called Baby. That's the new one. And then there's Absolutely, which is the one that came out like almost like a year ago, but they're both on vinyl and CD now. He's playing on Saturday Night Live this weekend. Hip hop guy, I believe. So Dijon. Dijon. I don't know. What do I know? Do I look like I'm listening to Dijon? I know. Hey, maybe. Well, this is very exciting. The Descendants. And a very hard album to find. And they're finally reissuing this one, I Don't Want to Grow Up. They did Milo Goes to College a couple months ago. We still have that hanging around. So now another Descendants. This is on The Masters Have Been Reclaimed and Reissued, is what this says on the sticker. 40th anniversary pressing, banana peel color vinyl. So it's kind of yellow with a little bit of blackish brown mixed in. And this features the songs Pervert, Rockstar, No FB, GCF, Silly Girl, Christmas Vacation. And so if you're into that and you want more Descendants, you can get the Punk Note edition of the album. Punk Note, by the way, meaning it's Blue Note kind of spoofed, inspired cover art, even with the same kind of back that Blue Note does. I love these. I think they're funny and great, and it's awesome because they look like old jazz records. So it might be a little bit shocking to someone who buys one of these and is like, wait a second, this isn't what I expected. All right. This is interesting. A King Gizzard live record. Now, you say, oh my God, another King Gizzard live record. There's so many. There are, but this one is interesting because it's a single record. It's not a box set, it's just one. And this basically is, well, it tells me on the cover here. I'll read it to you real briefly. This is a King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard official bootleg with songs taken from Live in Athens 25. We chose songs from I'm in Your Mind Fuzz and Murder of the Universe. Side A plays at 33 RPM, with songs playing both forwards, outer groove, and in reverse, inner groove. Side B plays at 45 RPM. There's nothing else to tell you about Side B. Enjoy. King Gizzard. They're just, they love playing games, and I think they're taking notes from people like Jack White and saying, let's have fun with this. So, pretty cool. A new Def Leppard live record, Diamond Star Heroes, live from Sheffield. And so, what was it? A year ago, they put out Live from the Mill, which was sort of a stripped down, back to basics, back home kind of record. And I don't know if the mill is still operating or not. I think it might have closed. There was talk about it closing, unless they saved it. It was a pretty iconic venue in Sheffield. And so then they did more of a rock show there. And this features songs from their big era and then sort of more recent ones. But it does have Photograph, Rock of Ages, Pour Some Sugar on Me, Hysteria, Bringing on the Heartbreak, Armageddon, It, Love Bites, Let's Get Rocked, Animal, Foolin'. You know, it's kind of a lot of greatest hits, and then there's a few others thrown in there. But yeah, this was recorded May 2023. So, Def Leppard. Going down the rock road, Korn. See You on the Other Side. This album is pretty hard to find, so it's nice that it's come out. I don't know if it was out. I think it was out once before, but it was been a long time. This is the indie exclusive Magenta Cloudy edition, the 20th anniversary edition, official vinyl release, featuring the bonus track Last Legal Drug. So, Korn fans, take note. I think this album, when it came out, was sort of critically acclaimed because it sort of pushed their sound in a different direction. And, you know, for the most part, people liked it. A reissue from Fantagram, their album Voices, and this is exclusive to LP color vinyl, including an alternate cover, and hit songs Blackout Days and Fall in Love. They're an electronic rock duo, and all their records always seem to sell a little bit for us. They never really are huge, but they definitely have their fan base, and this is one of their better albums, I think. Not like they have bad albums, but I think that one is one of the best. Interesting reissue from Tina Turner, Good Hearted Woman. Now this is like a kind of a more country rock, soul flavored album, I believe. This was remastered by Mike Pietrini, who I don't know who that is, but this was redone from, originally it was a 1974 album. I don't know if it was actually released in the US originally. It might have been. But it features Lay It Down, Loving Him Was Easier, Good Hearted Woman, If This Is Our Last Time, Stand By Your Man, Freedom to Stay, We Had It All, You Ain't Woman Enough to Take My Man, etc. So it was a little bit more like she got her cowboy boots on. She kind of went through different phases and wasn't afraid to try on other styles. I mean, she was from was it Memphis? Is it Memphis or St. Louis? Somewhere in that area. So, St. Louis, I think. Okay. R.I.P. Tina. Amazing artist. Okay. This actually came out a year ago. I don't know how I wasn't really aware of it, but Dean and Britta. This is Dean Wareham of Luna and Britta Phillips, his wife. And they did an album called A Piece of Us with Sonic Boom, who's a collaborator, did a lot of Spaceman 3 stuff, but he also worked with Panda Bear recently on one of his records a couple years ago. Anyway, A Piece of Us, a holiday season bonanza of winter songs for modern times, reminiscences and wishes, hopes and dreams, something old and something new, something made with love for you. pressed on cherry Eco Mix vinyl. It's basically their Christmas album. If you like things like the Beach Boys and their kind of more psychedelic type thing, it's kind of like that. Britta sings a little bit, but it's mostly Dean. And they do songs like Pretty Paper, the Willie Nelson song. They also do things like Little Drummer Boy, Peace on Earth. They do War is Over, Happy Christmas, War is Over, the John Lennon song. Then they have originals like Snow is Falling in Manhattan, Do You Know How Christmas Trees Are Grown, You're All I Want for Christmas. I don't know if that's a You're All I Want my crew. If we make it through December, I think that might be a cover. Anyway, Old Toy Trains. It's kind of a cool. If you were looking for a holiday record that's a little more off the beaten path, that's pretty cool. Also, I can't believe it, but in stores this year, a Philly special Christmas party. Now, last year we were only allowed to sell the CD. The vinyl you could get through the site, but it was $75. And they did donate a lot of that money to things like, I think, St. Jude's or one of those children's hospital. This year, maybe this says, proceeds from every album, plushie, and product sold support our mission to give back to families during the holidays. So that's awesome. It's the gift that keeps on giving. This is obviously featuring, it's sort of Jason Kelsey and the Philadelphia Eagles music project. But yeah, it's kind of cool that they did this. And so this year, it's a much more affordable $32. So if last year you were like, I can't, it's so much, $32. It's on white vinyl. It comes with a poster. And also it does feature, I think this is the one that featured a couple of special guests, and they're not listed on the outside. I think this is the one with Stevie Nicks on it. Anyway, it does have It's Christmas Time in Cleveland Heights, Last Christmas, Rudolph, Having a Party, Feliz Navidad. Anyway, and there we go. That's the business plan. This year also, Flight of the Conchords did a couple of reissues here. They did the regular sort of self-titled album, and also I Told You I Was Freaky, their second album. These are both pretty much indie rock classics. And they came out, 2008 and 2009. There was a show on HBO, and they're both on color vinyl. They don't say what colors. Can't remember. I think in the file somewhere I can look them up if you have a question, but they're color vinyl. This movie was kind of a phenomenon. It did really well, and a lot of people love the music. Sinners, and so we get a vinyl version of this week, featuring original songs and recordings by James Blake. So it's modern and it's sort of old-timey too. Cedric Burnside, which is more blues rock. James Blake is kind of more electronic pop, I guess. Jerry Cantrell from Alice in Chains. Miles Caton, Rhiannon Giddens is very folk type artist. Ludwig Göransson, Buddy Guy, get blues. Brittany Howard from Alabama Shakes. Chris Stone, Kingfish Ingram, which is very like blues. Lola Kirk, Jack O'Connell, Yarla O'Leonard, who did stuff with like Peter Gabriel, Irish kind of stuff. OG Dave, I don't know who that is. Bobby Rush, another blues. Haley Steinfeld, Don Tolliver, who's hip hop, Rod Wave, and more. So there's a 48-page booklet in here too. And Michael B. Jordan starred in the movie. So anyway, Sinners soundtrack. And also another soundtrack, Him, which is the new Jordan Peele movie. And it sort of it's another horror film revolving around football. And this one features, let's see, a lot of like hip hop stuff. Gucci Mane, Mobb Deep. There's OG Dave again. Sampa the Great. Some of these people I'm not. Denzel Curry. So anyway, Him, the movie soundtrack. I think that's on color vinyl too. Doesn't say on there, but I'm pretty sure. And then also, movie soundtrack. Royal Tenenbaums gets another issue. This is on pink and red vinyl. Great movie. Wes Anderson, great soundtrack. It does feature Vince Guaraldi's Christmas Time is Here. Also, Nico's Fairest of the Seasons. Ramones, Judy is a Punk. Bob Dylan's Wigwam, The Clash, Police and Thieves. Great soundtrack. If you've never seen the movie, you gotta see the movie. It's quirky goodness. And then as long as we're on movie soundtracks, try not to drop everything here. Wicked, the new one, Wicked for Good, featuring Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo. And this is the part 2 of the one that came out last year. So this one features the song For Good and 2 new songs, and the 2 of them star in it. And I kept thinking after the last one came out, I was like, where's the song For Good? Because that's like the song. I mean, I've actually played that song for people to sing it for like concerts and things like that. I'm a pianist. And I was like, oh, it wasn't there because it's on part 2 and it's coming later. So anyway, this is the regular edition, but yeah, it's I think there's a Record Store Day version of this coming out, but it's more I think it's more expensive. I can't remember, or it might be a picture disc. Anyway, a couple things that came out in the last couple weeks that came late. This one is the new One O Tricks Point Never album. Yeah, say that 5 times fast. It is called, I wonder if the name is actually on here, Tranquilizer. It did get a really good write-up in Pitchfork this week. If you're interested in that, read the Pitchfork review. He's a very kind of famous producer who does solo records too. The other one, new album from Rosalia called Lux. I think it's Rosalia, not Rosalia, but this is on crystal clear vinyl, includes a fold-out poster. Someone asked me the other day, what's that? And I said, well, she kind of looks like a sexy nun on the cover. And yeah, less of that. So, but anyway, very famous, popular Spanish Hispanic artist. So Rosalia. Let's see, there's some things on CD I want to show you really quick. Oh, actually, Blu-ray. We got Becoming Led Zeppelin, the Blu-ray edition of this. I think it's an import, but it's a region free. So that's actually shown up. Smashing Pumpkins, they did a deluxe version of Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness. The vinyl, I think, is only available from their website. So this is a 4 CD set featuring a bunch of live stuff and not a lot of extra tracks really, but a big live show in a nice box. Block Party Silent Alarm, that's also available on vinyl. This has a ton of bonus tracks. I'm not sure what's on the vinyl. I think it's more of an extended version too. Dr. John live at the Village Gate. I'll be looking for a vinyl of this. I have not seen one come up yet unless I missed it. 3 Black Sabbath reissues on CD. The first one, the Paranoid record, and Masters of Reality. Master of Reality, these are all imports. They're double CDs, so they have a second disc of rare or extra material. And then new release, Steve Morse Band's Triangulation. So if you're into kind of like prog or sort of like rock stuff. Trey Gunn, his new album with David Forlano, and it's called Select Habits of Invertebrates. So more kind of probably instrumental mainly. John Scofield and Dave Holland, a new album on ECM. I think it's new. This is 2025. And it's double bass with acoustic or with a guitar. It says guitar. I think he's electric. Might be some acoustic. I don't know. Memories of Home is the name of that. Pet Shop Boys Disco 5. This is in their series of disco records. This one they're actually remixing songs by other people. So dance versions of songs by Noel Gallagher, Tina Turner, Soft Cell, Hidden Cameras, Primal Scream, Paul Weller, Sleaford Mods, etc. Sonny Stitt, some sort of a collection here. It's 8 albums in one package for $18.99. Not bad. Not a bad deal. Old Crow Medicine Show Christmas CD called OCMS Xmas. That's new. And then I just wanted to show real quickly a couple of Black Friday things. So we're starting to get things. Bill Evans, Portraits at the Penthouse live in Seattle with Eddie Gomez and Joe Hunt. This is done on Resonance Records. It's a 1 LP for once, and it's also under $30. So everyone who's been saying like, oh my gosh, Bill Evans, it's always such a big investment for Record Store Day. That's not so bad. Another one, Old and in the Way, with Jerry Garcia, and this is the legendary bluegrass supergroup. One of their final performances, limited to 5,500. I tried to get a bunch of these, at least as many as I could, because I know people are going to want it. Peter Rowan, David Grisman, Vassar Clements, John Kahn, and Ramblin' Jack Elliott. Yeah, 2 LP edition, Old and in the Way. And one that I've been getting a lot of requests for, and they shorted us. We're getting maybe like a little more than half a dozen or so, and I ordered like 20 of them. So, but they aren't cheap. Dead Milkmen, Big Lizard in My Backyard. This is kind of a cool cutout cover here, lenticular type stuff. And they're from this area, basically. 40th anniversary, deluxe remastered, bonus 12-inch featuring alternate takes. And it's on yellow and green vinyl, remastered, featuring Tiny Town, Bitchin' Camaro, some of these I can't say anymore, Right Wing Pigeons, Big Lizard. They're kind of political humor, and yeah, they're very iconic. Hopefully they put this out again on some other type of pressing, but Bucky Fellini came out, I want to say like a year ago, and I still have one copy of that left. That one features instant hit You'll Dance to Anything by Day Pecca Mode. So anyway, all right, guys, maybe leave in the comments some of the things that you're looking forward to for Record Store Day Black Friday. It's exciting. It's an exciting time of year. So much music all of a sudden, and I mean, it's not like it's not been coming the entire time. So hopefully some of you that have been putting things off have a list or something that isn't just Record Store Day stuff, because there's a lot to look at, and there's a lot of great music, and it can't all be Record Store Day now, can it? So I know that, you know, there's a lot of great stuff on Record Store Day, though, don't get me wrong. So thanks again. I really appreciate the support and all the love, and love you guys. Thanks. Love this Tears for Fears reissue. Is awesome. Songs from the Big Chair with the original artwork. How cool is that? I'll talk to you again next week, probably with a bigger Black Friday preview. All right. I'll not like you probably don't know what's coming anyway. At this point, 29 times. All right. Peace. See ya.